Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in for this wonderful series of the Inner Dimensions of Islam by Mawlana Abdul Aleem Siddiqui al-Qadiri rahmatullah alayhi. And this will just take short extracts from these books: The Inner Dimensions of Islam, Volume 1, and then The Inner Dimensions of Islam, Volume 2. We'll just take some extracts from there and some of the speeches of Mawlana, the roving ambassador of Islam, Mawlana Abdul Aleem Siddiqui al-Qadiri. I will read it out exactly verbatim so that some people won't get a chance to read this book. This fabulous, wonderful book and words of wisdom. So whether you're traveling in your car, or maybe you're cooking in the kitchen, or in the gym, or you're going out for a jogging in the park, then you just put in your headphones and you can just listen to these words, and we can just refresh our understanding. Alhamdulillah. So I would like to give credit to Sheikh Abdul Hadi Al-Qadri Radawi, the president of the Imam Ahmad Rida Academy in Durban. Alhamdulillah, he gave me kind permission to say that I can use this book and I can share this knowledge, and may the viewers benefit from this knowledge. Ameen. So this book has been compiled by the Ahmad Rida Academy, and to get copies of the book, please contact them, and they can be found in Durban. And that's basically you'll find this is the cover of the book, nicely published book, nice glossy cover, very beautifully done, and nicely compiled in easy to understand English. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward the Imam Ahmad Raza Academy, the various people who compiled this book, the people who compiled the book and who funded the book and sponsored the book, and then who made it available to us so that we can get it to us. Right. So let's look at we're going to look at chapter on the cultivation of Islam, which is the cultivation of Islam by the Muslims. Now, what I will do is quite a lengthy chapter. It's quite a long speech that the Maulana gave at one of public forums. And now, today's youngsters and many of us, like myself, also, we won't be able to sit for a 2-hour lecture. So this will be broken up into a few short segments. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and let's see how we can get through it. So each part will be about 10 minutes. So it's in small bite-sized chunks. Listen for 10 minutes. Absorb it into your brain, put it aside, think about it. The main thing about any lecture, think about what the person is saying, listen to it, absorb it, and see how you can apply it to your life. Don't just go to a lecture and forget about it. So the words of Mawlana Abdul Aleem Siddiqui al-Qadiri rahmatullah alayhi are as valid as when he said it so many years ago as they are valid today. So see in which way we can benefit from these magnificent words. So we're looking at the cultivation of science by Muslims. So, so please remember, I'm reading this verbatim. So when I say I and this and that, it is the words of our Maulana, the esteemed Maulana, who is saying this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him and the others who are upholding the banner of Islam. Ameen. Right. So let's start with this, and I'll try and keep the time to more or less about 8-9 minutes, 7 to 8-9 minutes in small chunks. Inshallah, we'll get through it step by step. Right. The cultivation of science by the Muslims. Ladies and gentlemen, the subject of my discussion at the present occasion is, and I quote, the cultivation of science by the Muslims. Before I enter into a discussion of the subject, I regard it my pleasant duty to thank the Oriental Culture Society of Tokyo for so kindly providing me with an opportunity to speak to such a distinguished assembly. So, alhamdulillah, the roving ambassador of Islam went all the way to Japan and all over the world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him. Alhamdulillah. As I have already pointed out in my previous discourse, my speech from this platform shall not be in the capacity of a preacher of Islam or an advocate of a Muslim cause. I shall rather confine myself to a purely historical survey of the glorious intellectual achievements of that virile and powerful nation of the world, which is known by the appellation of Muslim. My treatment of the subject shall therefore be a purely impartial one. That means it is not subjective, it is purely objective, like a neutral observer. But before I proceed further, let me emphasize 2 important points. First, that the word Muslim, in inverted commas, M-U-S-L-I-M, Muslim, is a purely religious concept and has nothing to do with racial, linguistic, or geographical affinities. A Muslim is a product of the Islamic religion and is out and out a religious individual in his being and in his mission. I don't know if I can keep this on the side here so that we can know that what we are. I'll just try and keep this on the side, right? So it's Inner Dimensions of Islam, and maybe the book as well. I'll keep the book on the side here. If that can still there, right? So first, that a Muslim is a purely religious concept and has got nothing to do with racial, linguistic, or geographical affinities. A Muslim is a product of the Islamic religion and is out and out a religious individual in his being and in his mission. Second, that it is a common belief that there is a perpetual conflict between religion and science which goes far back into the dim and distant past. And we see it also today. Somehow people feel that, religion and science cannot go hand in hand, and there's always conflict as to what is knowledge. Is mathematics, is it Islamic knowledge, or is it secular knowledge? What about physics and science and botany and marine biology? So there's always this type of dichotomy or this type of debate among scholars and ulama, right? And Maulana goes further and he says, keeping these facts in view, it seems extremely strange that the Muslims should have been the foremost in the cultivation of science. And not only this, they have been the sole teachers of science for several centuries. While speaking before the Royal Asiatic Society of Shanghai, I expounded the view that to regard science and religion as opposed to each other was based on a misconception of facts, and it gave me great pleasure to note that my view was highly appreciated. In fact, those who hold the view of conflict between religion and science labor under a wrong notion of religion. Those notions and ideas to which they gave the name of religion are not really religion, but mythology and superstition. The fact is that religion is itself a science. It carries its investigation into the realm of spiritual and moral values, while physical science concerns itself with material entities. The main difference lies in the methods employed in the physical science and the science of religion. The criterion of reason, however, works in the domain of religion as much as in the field of physical science. Islam has been defined by its holy book, the Quran, as a code of the laws of nature concerning the relation of man with the rest of the universe, both spiritual and material, a perfect union in the actions of man and in the actions of nature. Now, just as in the case of investigation of the physical laws, there have been men in all ages who have devoted their lives to the study of material bodies and the physical phenomena. There have similarly been persons whose lives were devoted to the science of religion, who knocked at the gates of religious knowledge, and having received it, they delivered it to the others. These persons are called prophets and messengers in Islamic terminology. It'll be a long digression from my subject if I enter into a theological discussion of the ways and means for obtaining a right knowledge of religious verities which the prophets employ. At the present moment, I have only to point out that the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sal'lal'laa'hu Was'sal'lam is a most important figure amongst this class of men, and the philosophy of life he gave to the world is termed as the religion of Islam. Stay well, look after yourself. Join me in episode number 2 as we take this further in this fabulous discussion of science and religion, or the cultivation of science by the Muslims in this wonderful series, The Inner Dimensions of Islam. We're looking at by the roving ambassador of Islam, Mawlana Abdul Aleem Siddiqui al-Qadiri, volume number 1, prepared by the Imam Ahmad Raza Academy from Durban. And there you can get the details over there. Please get a copy of that book. I don't know if they've got the email on the inner cover. I don't see it here, but it looks like Barbasta Raza publication. I can't see it too clearly, but I'll just try and keep that there. But those are the details. Please contact them. Try and get a copy of this book. Every home should have a copy of this book. Get a home library and get copies of it for your school and give it out, and perhaps translate it into different languages. It's a nice small compact book, so it can be translated into different languages as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of those who've compiled this, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our efforts, in our small effort, in just sharing knowledge so that the world of darkness is then spread with the light of knowledge. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah.